So, oh, mic fell down there. Come on, stay like that. There we go. As we can see by the exterior, we're back in some OMSI, and I think the last time I actually played OMSI was my last OMSI video, my tips and tricks. That's now got over 100 views, but for the channel that's pretty big actually. I would have never expected it to get 100 views. I've just realised I've left my engine running. There we go. Everything's good now. So, the light keeps falling down, but nevertheless, oh, excuse me, we are in an SD77 today. Or is it just a D77? I haven't played in so long, I've actually forgotten. The SD77, yes. Okay, right, SD77. And today we're going to be doing like a brief tutorial on, well, you should be able to tell by the title of the video, how to drive. In this video I'm going to cover two buses. I'm going to cover this, the SD77, and I'm going to cover the D92 as well. And in the next video I'm going to cover the articulated and single-decker Cityliner buses, the NL and the NL202 and the NG272. I think that's what they're called. Yeah. So, nevertheless, let's jump into the cab, shall we? So, an unmodified D77 cab here, you know. Haven't got the stairwell back here, but we have the one back there. There's the doors, you know, got all the seats and everything. La da da da. I'm not thick. So, how do we start a bus? I'm actually just going to open the window. I prefer to have the window open. Actually, no, let's leave it closed, because it will be noisy. First things first, how do we start a bus? I'm not going to be doing a route today, actually. Just going to clear this up. I'm not going to be doing a route, because I haven't got the .hof file for Neuendorf in Neuendorf, wherever it is, in this folder. So, I can only drive this bus on Eibstein, Grundorf and Berlin at the minute, and a couple of other maps. But ignoring that, let's have a look around. So I'm just going to get rid of the steering wheel. First things first, to start our bus we need to turn the electrics on, as seen by the key here. Now simply that is done by pushing the key in. I have a button assigned to that, like so. And if the further we turn the key, that turns our lights on. And if we have our lights all the way on and we kick that foot pedal, we get full beam. So just going to leave that there for now. Hang on. For some reason we had a stop request. So as you can see, when we have a stop request, and the stop request is indicated by this light here coming on, for some reason that door isn't closing now. I know why. There we go. Okay. So, I'm just going to put the door lock back on. When this light comes on, you have a stop request. And to release the doors, so we'll just activate again. As you can see, there's our stop request. And what we then need to do, and I'm going to trigger it from the outside here, we then need to release the door lock, and the doors will open automatically. As soon as the doors are open, you can close the door lock. I don't think I did that. Let's just do that again. Okay, so the door lock, as we can see, is now closed, and it doesn't affect when the doors close or not. La di da di da da. You know, you get the drill. With the door lock on, you also notice that these two brake lights are activated. They're not the normal brake lights, I don't think. Yes, they are. They are the normal brake lights. The brake lights come on. The brake lights do not come on when you have the parking brake on. As I can see, that's now off, that's on, that's off. Brake lights are not affected by the parking brake. Anyway, as you can see, we now have the electrics on. What's next? Well, make sure the bus is in neutral. I'm going to sneeze. That's better. Make sure the bus is in neutral. If the bus is in drive, it won't start. If the bus is in reverse, it won't start. Just make sure the bus is in neutral. So, bus is in neutral, and then what we need to do is this button here. That's That's engine off, that one there. If you're running a wheel like I am, they will be no different. So, what we now need to do is hold that button down, and as we can hear, you might not be able to hear, you might, if I just turn it off, if we watch this little gauge over here, when I power on, it jumps up to about 1. It's sitting in between 1 and 2, just near 1 though. So is there anything else that we need to know before we set off? Well, usually the parking brake would be engaged like this. These are your warning lights here, if you ever need to enable them. No, they're not. That's heating. These are your warning lights if you ever need to enable them. Should notice because they would flash, and they are indicated up there by the indicator light flashing. You don't have a left indicator and a right indicator. I think it's the same for all the buses. You just have an indicator light, you know. I have a button to set my indicator off without having to, you know, let me just put the steering wheel back on for a minute, having to turn the wheel and then go all the way back. You know, it's just one of those things. You've got your horn, that's going to come in handy for, you know, beeping the AI. We got wipers. Nothing special about that, really. You know, my paddles on my G27 are assigned to my indicators. And just before we set off, there's something else. These are possibly the most important tools you're ever going to need. Your doors. I mean, apart from the accelerator and everything, doors are pretty important. But if you ever do need to open the doors because some electric system has failed, if you twist that switch up there, and we can basically just open the doors manually. I'm not sure whether they stay or not, but as soon as we flick that back, they close. So if you ever have an electric failure, you know, you can always just, you know, flick the switch and you just open a door up here. Hold a door open. Now eventually they will close, but I think there's actually a little tiny glitch here. No, okay, right, close those. If in the case of the SD7, I think if you open the right-hand side door, no. There we go. If we open the right-hand side door first, it gets caught on this rubber seal here, and will sometimes take a long time to open. So the best thing to do is either open. Actually, open both doors like that, or just open them both at the same time, you know, it's easier. Okay, yeah, let's stop fiddling with the doors now. Okay. I also have my lights, as we can see, there's full beam as well. Without your lights on, your full beam acts as a flash. Now, unlike in Euro Truck and other games, the AI will not respond to you flashing them. If you want to let an AI car go, it will not respond to a... Unfortunately. So you just have to cut the AI out whenever you get the chance. But now that the bus is started, what can we do? I'm actually just going to enable my things up there. There we go. Okay, so that gives me an idea of how fast I'm going, all the times and everything. If I had a timetable active, that would show some more stuff, like when I need to be at the next stop. The one after that shows, you know, the height I'm currently at, where I'm going, you know, all the basically just weather controls and everything. And then the last one shows like the throttle, the brake, the clutch, you know, my average FPS and everything like that. But, you know, I should leave this here. Beware when driving an automatic. The clutch acts as the announcement button. This now you only actually get announcements in later vehicles, but you can still have them pop up on the Ibis over here. I know for a fact that in the D92 you can trigger the announcements with the clutch. I've been waffling on for 10 minutes and we haven't even moved. That's interesting. But when you're driving a manual bus, which I will cover manuals later on in the series, don't worry. When you're driving a manual, do not use announcements, because when you change gear, you will trigger an announcement. But anyway, what we can now do is we can now take the parking brake off and put the bus into drive. And, as you can see, we are only moving forward slightly, but when I apply some accelerator, that's it, we're moving. So I'm actually just gonna turn down here. There we go. Be careful on corners, you don't want to really be like... If you go around a corner at more than 20 kilometers an hour, the AI tend to get, you know, slightly annoyed. Is he going to be able to make it round? Yeah, he's on the other side of the road. Jesus Christ, what am I on? I'm just going to wait for him to go past before I pull out, because I know that I'm going to need to use the entirety of the road to be able to get out. Aha! Our first encounter with the sun. I'm just going to try and squeeze past this. I really haven't driven in a long time. What I'm actually just going to do is, just so I don't get blinded by the sun, let's just put the blinds down, and I'm actually going to turn this way. Okay, so we've got to stop here. Now when stopping, if you go through the tutorials, it asks you to put the bus in neutral. I prefer just to put the handbrake on. I don't think it makes a difference. I mean, in some of the later models of buses, you will start to get a vibrating sound, and that sometimes does annoy me. But for the meantime, we'll just put the handbrake on. I think what we're going to do is we're going to drive up to the bus station, we'll turn around and we'll come back. So, there we go, there's power. That was a bit of kick down, so I'm actually just going to ease off the throttle for a bit. We're going to open the window now. Okay, so buses really aren't very good at accelerating, as you've probably guessed by now. So we're just going to slow down. Going to pull out up to about here. Got our indicators on, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into this turn, not too sharp. Got to be careful when going around a corner like that. You need to be able to check both mirrors. Make sure you're not like colliding into any lampposts or anything, but I'm actually just going to lift off the throttle here a bit. So we are going to go down, I would say, the second road here. Just going to have to get a bit more throttle to get up the hill. Oh, look in that wing mirror, Jesus Christ, we are kicking up some fumes, boy. Okay, so we're just going to turn down here now. This is a pretty tight corner, so I'm going to be careful here. That was pretty good. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. When you go around corners, take into consideration the full length of your vehicle. You're not driving a car. You're driving a, what, 18 metre long bus? Jesus Christ, up on the curve there a bit. We want to go around that way. Okay. So just going to keep an eye on my mirrors, you know. Go back to... Okay, we didn't hit anything, that was good. So what we're now going to do, as you can see, there's a bus, there's an 03... Ooh, wrong side of the road. Okay, so we're just going to go down here. And there's not a lot I can really say. I mean, driving with a wheel, relatively easy. You know, you can't go wrong driving with a wheel. But when you're driving with a keyboard, you have to remember that, you know, providing you have dynamic wheel speed on, you know, which makes it realistic, your wheel is not going to move at the speed of light, you know. With this, my G27, I have control over how fast I move my wheel, you know. That's very unrealistic. But with the keyboard, if I was using the keyboard, the wheel moves at one set speed. And that's when you have to be careful about how you're driving. So, just got a bus coming down the other way now. Just gonna gently apply the brakes. That's another thing that you have to, you know, learn. Braking. You don't want to be braking too hard. It's something that you get used to over time. You're using the keyboard. Accelerator, you know, it's however much you're holding down. But when you're braking, as you'll know, the more brake you apply, you know, I'll say that again. As soon as you touch the brake, it stays on. You know, there is no way to release it other than the plus key, I think. So we're just going to get around here. Just going to try not to hit this car. That went well. Okay, so, oh god, reverb, reverb, reverb. No, 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 no. Close window. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so just on the brakes a bit. I probably would have. Okay. I'm going to back off a bit, let him go forward. Despite the fact that he's going to easily outrun me now. But what we'll now do is we'll go back to the depot. So, you know, just going to indicate down here. That's a no entry, so we're going to have to go down this one over here. Just going to pull over here slightly just so I can get in the middle of the road, you know. And we are round. So I'm just gonna, you know, go around the corner. And we're just gonna pull back into the depot and park the bus. Oh dear. Onto the curb a bit. We don't want to be mounting the curb a lot, but you know. Just gonna pull in here so we can get parked. We're not actually parking in here, by the way. We're actually gonna go and park, so neutral reverse. I would say okay, so using my mirrors, I'm just gonna make sure I don't clip anything. Now in certain buses you can actually lean out the window, but I think that is relatively well parked. Okie dokie, so in neutral, engine off, electric off, and we're done. Just realised the audio's probably gone very quiet there because I was, you know, I was concentrating in it. I've got to park, you know, but ignoring all the lens flares, there is the bus. It is parked, you know, and we are done with the SD77. I'll catch you in a minute for the D92. So after having to restart my game because it crashed, no change there really. That's just OMSI for you. We find ourselves in a D92, and first impressions is it looks very different from, you know, the SD77, and with good reason. If we just pop into the cab, as we can see, it's very different. We have a ticket printer now. There's our new EBIS, and most notably, new wheel and new handbrake, and everything's new. Also, I now can't see back there, but there is another staircase. So, how different is it from starting the other bus? Really not that different. You know, there's your key, there's your engine on. Engine sounds are a little different. You might remember with the SD77 it was very high pitched. This is quite bassy. I mean, on some of the earlier SD, like 80 variants and 90 variants, you can tell the or the D80 and D90 variants, you can tell the difference. It is, you know, quite high pitched, but this is, you know, very different. So, what do we need to do? Nothing. Wheel back, handbrake is off. I'm using the mouse just to show you sort of like what it looks like. We're going to put it in drive, and the vehicle just rolls away. So, oh, I've lost my thing up there. That's not gone well. I now can't see like speed and everything, so I'm going to have to rely on my speedo. So we're going to go a different way this time. You know, just mixing things up. So, just checking to see if the road's clear. It was. Just gonna even out onto the road. There's the air brakes. Jeez. Bit of a shunt there. Maybe some lag, I'm not sure. He was going blooming slow to go around that corner, weren't he? So as you can see, we're only just topping 40 kilometers here, and that's because I'm just using very, very, very minimal amounts of throttle. If you look down, that's all I'm applying really. And now on the hill, I'm actually just going to lift off. The vehicle is probably going to accelerate on its own, so you know, we're just going to get ourselves down here. There's not a lot I can really talk about when it comes to driving. Like I say, I've said it before, it's very easy. I mean, if you watch the tips and tricks video, you'll see there's nothing to this really. It's all just, you know, put your foot down and drive. So you want to be going that way. Just put the indicators on because I've forgotten to. Are we clear? No, not really. Is he going to wait for me? Oh no, actually he's going around there. I didn't see his indicators. That's full lock. I had to use quite a lot of lock to get around that corner there. Bit of a kick down just to get out of the way of that car. Get on the brakes. I pretty much know my way around this map now by heart. Someone with no name is playing Payday 2. That's interesting. So, oh, I was going to talk about something whilst we were sat in traffic, but I'm not going to anymore. So, what's different about this bus? Well, everything is operated by, you know, digitally. You look at all the switches and everything. It all looks very different. They've all got lights in them. They all light up and everything. You know, you've got a lot more lights with like diagrams and stuff in them to tell you what's happening. It is a much more advanced vehicle, and with that, it's a lot easier to drive. Actually, the SD77 and the older series vehicles are very, you know, different to drive than this. It's a very different experience, you know. I mean, I haven't covered the SD83. That's sort of like the middle ground. They have different dashboards entirely. Some of them have the dashboard from, you know, the 77 and 80 series with a different steering wheel, and some of them have a simplified version of this dashboard. You know, getting to know the dashboards on your buses and everything is, you know, essential to, you know, knowing how to. I'm saying, you know, a lot. It's essential to driving a bus. You know, I did it again. You want to be able to learn, you know, where all the switches are. I'm saying it. I don't even know I'm saying it at this point now. You need to know where all the switches are, what all the buttons do, what all the lights mean. The disc version of the game actually comes with a big map of Berlin that I use quite frequently, and some label diagrams on what all the switches and everything are, and, you know, German and English translations and everything. And climate control, which I'll do in a later video, is essential in OMSI. You know, keeping your passengers happy, providing a comfortable ride, ticket sales, everything that I'm going to cover later on in this series. It's just essential. It's, you know, you need to know. I've just given up with, like, trying not to say, you know, at this point in time. But without all this knowledge of buses and, like, how they work and where the switches and everything are, you're dead in the water pretty much. OMSI is a pretty heavy simulator, if you ask me. You need to know what everything does and, like, how you can, you know, work around issues and things. Oh, mounted the curb there. Jesus Christ, that didn't go well. It's going to be a pretty long video, this. You know, we're probably pushing half an hour here. But you know, I'll just get parked up in a minute and I'll switch the engine off, and we'll be done with the video. I mean, I'm going to be stuck behind this bus for a while. So, we are nearing 60 kilometers an hour now. And he is escaping me. Jesus Christ. This is a DLC bus in front of me. I keep mounting the curb for some reason. The DLC bus in front of me, and I will be doing a video on it later on in the series. And just Noondorf in general. The 0305 add-on, I will be doing a video on. He is slowing down now. Is he going to stop? I can't tell. Yes, he is going to stop. Right, can I get out from next to him? Yeah, probably. Okay, just pull in there, and we've got around him. Turn the indicators off. I think we'll just go for like a kick down now. Let's get up to the next set of lights. and we'll park up in a minute, and we'll be done with it. Because there's not a lot to talk about for this, you know. The single deckers, there's definitely going to be more to talk about because there's new kit and stuff on those vehicles. But this is just a case of, well, I can't really say much. But oh god, no, I'm going to get rammed. Ooh, that was close. I thought, I didn't realise he wasn't indicating, so we just about got around there, but you know, I'm just gonna. Oh, that was close. Going around here, a corner at this sort of speed probably isn't going to be, you know, very good for your passengers. They will get annoyed. But oh well, it's like the last stop on this route, the 302. So just gonna wait for this car. I'm actually gonna wait for the next car as well. I probably could have got through in that gap. Oh, what a shame! I had to pull out. Oh dear. That was a bit of a dodgy corner. I didn't handle that particularly well. So we're just gonna pull up here. I'm just gonna pull in behind this taxi. Ooh, heavy brakes. Interesting. Neutral, handbrake, engine, ignition. And the bus is parked. Voila, what do you know? So, you know, you just got all the different views through. I sometimes drive in this view actually. I quite like, you know, this view and the upstairs back view. They are pretty interesting to, you know, drive a bus from. But that concludes episode 1 of OMSI How to Drive. So, like I say, next episode we're going to be covering the 2 stock single deckers. The thing that's just gone past me is not one of them. And after that I will probably go into depth about advanced ticket sales, and after that we'll go on to DLC and maps. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Ta-da!